Hey, this is Kristen from Drive Mode Show, and I'm here on site at McCoy Station for the 10th annual Rebelle Rally. Aaron?
Sorry about the camera, it's windy.
It is really windy here and a little chilly. As you may know, I competed in the Rebelle Rally for the last 3 years. This year is my first time on staff. I'm hosting media, and I get to introduce Aaron to it for the first time. He's going to ride along with Rebelle Rally founder Emily Miller today, which is going to be awesome. What do you think so far?
So I think it is a lot more complicated than I thought. The Rebelle is a navigation challenge. So it's about time management and plotting, not about being in a hurry. So it's not about speed, it's about knowing where you are and knowing where you're going to be next. And not just that, but also where you're going to be after that and after that, because all of that comes into play. What really surprised me is how much technology is happening in the background,
right,
that the teams are interfacing with, but not necessarily having to know. There is a ton of tracking and information that comes through this.
Right, for safety and for scoring as well. Just to take a step back, the Rebelle Rally is an 8-day navigational rally. It's all women. And this year there's 67 teams, so it's the most the rally's had. It's the longest rally that has ever been in its 10-year history. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done because you have to keep your cool for 8 days. You're camping out the whole time, and you have no phone, no digital devices. You're completely cut off, you're totally focused on your maps and your partner and your vehicle and where you are.
Yeah. So the only digital that's happening, the teams don't have a whole lot to do with. There's the digital built into the car so that the rally organizers always know where you're at.
Yeah, it's a tracking device.
Yeah. And then there's what the team uses. Basically, they push a button and say, I think we're at the checkpoint now. And it scores them based on how close they are to it. And that's pretty much it. That's all of it. And
that's all you get.
If something really bad happens, there's a satellite phone, and that's pretty much all of it.
Yeah, and let me give you an interesting anecdote about that. Okay. 2 years ago, Jill and I were driving, I guess we were in the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and we had a dash cam. I can't remember the name of the dash cam brand, but it was a good one. And there was a crash right in front of us. Somebody hit one of the competitors right in front of us on the road. And so we had to use that sat phone to call for emergency help because the Mitsubishi passenger vehicle was totaled. And they were passing us on the left side as they were about to make as the competitor vehicle was about to make a left-hand turn. Oh, wow. So they are really focused on safety, and they make sure they know exactly where everybody is and that everybody has a sat phone and they know how to use it since you don't have your cell phone. Yeah. If there's an emergency, you can break the seal on your cell phone, like if you need to, but the sat phones are there for that.
Okay. And what I learned this morning from the safety briefing is that teams are encouraged to help other teams in a medical emergency especially. And you actually don't lose time for doing that. And
that's true.
Teams just on their own are usually helping each other if somebody gets stuck or something like that, because it's just good sportsmanship.
It is. And if you opt to help someone, you don't get that time back if it's just like you're helping them get unstuck or you're helping them find a plot point. But like when Jill and I stopped to see that crash and help witness it, we did get our time back. Yeah. But
that's I mean, it's a really cool event, and then being here changes it a little bit because now I'm seeing I know a bunch of people here already, but now I'm seeing a bunch of people who are just really excited and really, really excited for each other. So it's not just about our team's going to kick ass. There's a lot of we're going to do great and smacking each other on the back and not, that's your competitor and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's not cutthroat. People are very serious. This is a world-class event, and it's really challenging. It's one of the most challenging off-road rallies are out there, and it just happens to be for women.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool environment. And last year, you might remember that Jill and I got a flat tire in the Ram RHO right after the very last checkpoint, and 3 teams pulled over to help us. which means they forfeited some points. They got penalty points for being late back to base camp, but they said it was worth it. It was one of my favorite parts of the last 3 years rallying, just to see that kind of assistance.
It's really cool. And then the other thing is sponsorships. I'm not surprised how many sponsors are involved and how involved they are. You have some factory teams running, so Toyota and Ford, BMW,
and Warner Ineos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. And then there's all the satellite and data tracking. There's like 3 companies, but they're all under the same company, right?
Well, there's Iridium, who does the satellite phones, and then YB Tracking puts the trackers on all the vehicles, and then they have the devices that the competitors use to see where they are, or to to click. This is where I think the checkpoint is, and it tells them the latitude, longitude points. Mm-hmm. That's the technology behind all of this.
Right, and Pennzoil, which is sponsoring several teams.
Yes.
As well. So.
And Pirelli.
The Pirelli
Challenge. Big companies, big names.
They're getting involved because they know that this is something that a lot of people are watching in a way that's different than traditional motorsport. So this is not like, let's hurry around an oval or let's speed through Las Vegas and make a bunch of GT turns and stuff like that. This is a very different kind of camaraderie-based sport. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah, Emily calls it, a lot of times she calls it a game. You play the game. Yeah. And it's more like chess than it is motorsports in some ways, because you really have to think strategically. This is when this next checkpoint opens. This is when it closes. I have to make it to that before this time. Or I might have to forfeit this smaller point checkpoint in order to get to the bigger ones. And you really have to think through all of that. Yeah. Which is stressful.
Right. And it's about a team. There's 2 people in that vehicle, and those 2 people have to figure out everything to make it happen.
Yeah, you better get along.
Right, and you have to get along, or you use you say watermelon.
Right.
That was, if you remember video back, that was Jill and Kristen's safe word, kind of. Like when somebody was getting on somebody else's nerves, they would just say that. And because the friendship was more important than the event.
And it has to be, if you're going to rally with a friend. Yeah. You got to put your friendship top.
Yes. And then I saw this morning, as they were working out mapping. So this is the prologue, which is a kind of a precursor,
It's a warm up, really.
The way she put practice laps. The cobwebs off and kind of. So this doesn't count towards the event, but they have to make those points. And I was looking at these maps. These are 100 and 200K maps that they're going through. That are watching how they plot was very interesting because. Every time I've used a map, you were walking there, not going 20 plus miles an hour.
Right,
so it's
right.
A little different.
Yeah, and it's 273 kilometers today.
Yeah.
So that's a significant distance, right? And they always say you should plot every single checkpoint that they give you, even though it's kind of like a ski, right? So the green are the easiest checkpoints, and then there's blue, which are a little harder to find, and then there's black, which aren't marked at all. They're called black diamonds. And you have to figure out where it is, triangulate it, and then use your clicker. And if you're wrong, like within a certain range, you could get points taken away if you're wrong. But what helps when you map out all the checkpoints, you can kind of see the route that they want you to take. If you try to skip from one to another, you might end up on a road that hasn't been vetted or that takes you, way out of your way. Right.
Or your measurements are now off because your odometer is different. So there's a lot of little things that all add up in this. So it's a very cool event. You can watch it live, right?
Yeah, you can watch it live. Toyota presents the live show, and Alyssa Roenick from ESPN is going to be one of the commentators, along with Matthew Johnson. So Matthew, this is really interesting. Matthew used to work with Top Gear, And he was one of the Stig characters.
Oh, cool.
One of the masked, race car drivers. So they do the live show every day, and you can keep up with it. If you go to rebellerally.com, you can see all the action. Now, Erin's about to get in the car with founder Emily Miller, and she is an off-road champion herself. She trained with Rod Hall. In fact, Rod Hall's, he's an off-road Hall of Famer. His granddaughter, Shelby Hall, is also here driving for Ford, one of the factory teams. So keep an eye out for her. Any other teams you think we should look out for besides Jill and Lola?
Well, we have a lot of friends that are in this.
We do. Lynn Woodward, Emmy Hall.
Right. Emmy Hall and Jill is competing again this year with a new partner.
Yep. Proud of her.
Yeah. And she's Jill, so super stoked and bouncy. That's Jill. I tried to talk to Emmy earlier, but she is so hyper-focused.
She is locked in.
Yeah.
And Emmy's won this a couple times. She won in the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Yes.
Imagine driving like a $500,000 SUV in the dirt for 8 days. And then she also won in a Rivian R1S when the Rivian R1S or R1T was still a prototype, really. Like it was just starting.
On the street yet.
So yeah, she's in it again after being a host of the live show.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot today, and we'll end up at base camp tonight. First base camp, anyway.
So going to be pretty awesome, and you'll have seen photos cycling through this, so you can see what we're talking about as we've talked about it. Yeah,
take a look at our Instagram channel, Drive Mode Show, or mine, Kristen V. Shaw, and Erin, you'll probably be putting some on yours as well.
Just my name, Aaron Turpin.
We're so creative.
Yeah, super creative with that.
Keep an eye out. Follow the Rebelle Rally.
And it's cool to see you again.
Nice to see you too, bud.
Yeah. All right.
See you soon.